Hi guys, this is going to be a video showing you how to use layers and some of the different effects and tools in Gimp, mostly for use in RLC and Otherverse. But first of all, what I want to do is run you through some of these different buttons and stuff that we got here. So I need to go over and grab this file, just drag and drop it in. And you can see this is already a PNG file, but it needs sharpening up and clearing up because it's got some blurred effects there. But first of all, here you can see that I have a toolbox and a layers and brushes box. So in here, this is my layers section. Down here are all my brushes. Now in here I've got over 3,000 brushes, so bear with me. And you can see your different tools, etc. Your rectangle select, your path tool, your scale tool, text, eraser, brush, pencil. They're all there ready for you to use, and you can see that I've already got this layer in here. Right, so first of all, to get all these effects up here, now, because I've already got mine here, I'm just going to show you. So I've got recently closed, that's empty, but dockable dialogues, what you want to click on first is your tool options, and a box will show up right where mine is here. Go back to tool options, layers, again click on that, tool options and brushes. And for now that should do you. If you need any more, just go back to your dockable dialogues and pick them from here. As you can see, there's lots of different ideas, etc. If you click on palettes, you can see you've got all your palettes here. This is more for use with the gradients, and we won't be using that for now. So we go back to the brushes section, right? Now in here, up here we've got file, where you've got all your options for saving, etc. Your edit, where you can undo and redo and paste into, etc. Select all. If you click on that, you can see that we have this little running ants going around here, which has selected all that. To get rid of that, you just go back and click select none, and that gets rid of it. View. There's tons of options here. You've got shrink wrap, full screen. Let's do this as full screen for now. Right. No, but I don't like the full screen for now. So we'll go back and we'll just put it back to this. Sorry guys. You've got your show selection, layer boundaries, guides. There's plenty of options there. And as you work through and get used to Gimp, you'll find you use a lot of these. Over here you've got your different modes, RGB, which is the red, green and blue, which is always the settings you want when you're using coloured files, etc. Grayscale is when you're using something that's grey. Now if you want to colourize something, and the image is actually grayscale, it's very easy to change it. It won't change the colour, but when you go to colorize it, it will. All you do is just go back to image mode, and it'll probably be checked as grayscale. Just change it back to RGB. And you can see that is actually, and if you want to edit it, just undo, undo, and there you go. Then we have our layers section. Again, you can auto crop and all sorts there, but for the moment we're not needing any of this. Here you have your colorize box. Now you can do the color balance. So if you play about with these, you can see how it changes it. Magenta, you see? Just play around with these buttons until you get comfortable with them and you get the color effect you're looking for. So we'll just cancel that for now. We've also got hue and saturation. The hue actually changes it to whatever color you want. The lightness can go lighter, darker. And your saturation really brings out the color of it. Or if you go right to the other end, it loses all color. And then you have your colorize button, and it automatically changes to this color. But again, you can see you've got hue, saturation and lightness. And you can just bring it down until you've got a color that you like. You can bring up the saturation or lower the saturation. Play about with that. As you can see, you get some really nice effects just by playing about with these different buttons. And then when you're happy with a colour or whatever you've got, just click OK. But I'm going to leave that for now. We then have our brightness and contrast. So you can brighten something which really lightens it or darken it. Again, a lot of these buttons do the same thing, but some of them with more deeper effects. If you get my meaning with that. We've got our threshold. You can see you can play about with that. If you change the threshold there, see what happens? So again, just undo threshold. We've got levels. If you move these buttons here, again, they're really just doing what you've already been doing with the colorize and all that. Again, play about with them and have fun. Posterize. See what happens there? You can just play about. And this is actually very good for getting some of the wood effects to really show out. But be careful. If you're not comfortable using the drag and drop, the drag, use the arrows on the right. And you can just play about with that. Hang on. Undo levels. Right, that's fine. And if we hit desaturate, it takes it just down back to a grayscale. And if you do luminosity, you can see it lightens the highlights. Average. Again, just play about with it. Cancel. And over here we've got all our tools. These are actually the tools that you've got over here in the toolbox. So you can use these if you want. You can align, move, crop, all those selection tools. But I actually find it's easier just going over here and finding them in your toolbox here. Now filters you can have a lot of fun with, like you've got your blur, Gaussian blur, and what you do is you've got your little preview window here, and if you can see how that blurs it out, you've got your Sharpen Tool, which is an excellent tool for really sharpening up your work. And sometimes, depending where you're working with it, if you really want the wood to stand out, you can see how it really does make it stand out. Cancel that. We've got distort. This is a brilliant one. We've got apply lens. There's all different ones here. You can emboss. You can play around with those settings to your heart's content. If you look here, you can really see what's happening here in your preview window. See how that really plays about with the depth. See how that's really brought it out, and then you could just colorize that if you wanted. You just go over here, colorize, and then bring it down to whatever color you wanted, close to a wood effect. Bring up the saturation a little bit. You can lighten it or darken it a bit. Just play about with it. This gives you an idea. I undo emboss, and you can see there's all different, and I can really run through a lot of these in more videos later on, but for now that's it. So now what we want to do is we want to sharpen all this up a bit. Now as you can see, this is already a PNG file, but if it wasn't, let me show you. I'll add a new layer here, and I shall just bucket fill it. As you can, over here you've got your color boxes, and you just click on these. So I'll add that in there, bring it down by using this little down arrow, and then we shall just merge down, and that merges both those layers. Now to get rid of this white background, what you would want to do, the easiest way, this already has an alpha channel because it's a PNG file that I've just modified. Excuse me. But if it was a JPEG file, go over to your layers and you would just click on where it says add alpha channel. Now mine's grayed out because mine is already a PNG file, but you would click on that, and then over here you could either use your rectangle select box, which would work fine for, say, this one in here. So all you would need to do is just Zoom in if you need to. But I'm just doing this real quick just to give you an idea. And then just bring that over a bit, and then just cut that out. And you can see you've got your PNG, your transparent background there. But another really good way of doing it is to go here to your fuzzy select tool, which is this one here. Bring up the threshold and then just click. Now, as you can see, we want to get rid of some of that, so we bring it up a bit more. And you can see we are getting, no, that's too much because it's taken in the, bring it down just a bit more. We only want to take out the white section, so we'll bring it down just a bit more. Right, so it needs to come down quite a bit more. There we go, that'll do. And then just right click, edit and cut. And you do this for all of these. Simple way to do this. Same up here. And you would do this for all of this. And it's the same here, up here. Now I'm going to close this file because I already, but you can see, you get the idea for using the fuzzy select tool. Now then, let me just close this and open the one that, now close and discard, and then I'm just open up this one again. I've just dragged and dropped it. As you can see, we've got that there, right? So now to save this, what you would want to do is go over, now because this has got a transparent background, you would want to save it as PNG. So you go over and don't use save as. If you use save as, it saves it as an XCF file, and you're not ready to do that yet. So you cancel, go over to file, export as, and then down here you see your select file type. You scroll down and you look for PNG. You can see you've got tons of different file options, but we want PNG image. So we export. Now, because I've already got this, I want to replace it. Export. Now, because we're going to be working some more with this, you go back and you file, export as, and then you scroll down to your select file and you look for your gzip archive. This will save this as the XCF gzip file, but it now means that you have got two sets of files saved. And this will just show as a GIMP. This means that using the XCF, if you want to add layers, etc., you just open this up, or if you've got 2 or 3 or however many layers, save it as an XCF file so that when you open up that file, it's all sitting there waiting for you. You don't have to go through all the palaver of opening up all the layers again. Okay? Now, so now that you've saved this, we'll close it. And because we want to add some more layers to this, we'll open up the XCF file. Now you can see over here I've got a new wood texture, so I want to add this to this window just as a test. So we go over here and we look for open with and then GIMP. Oh, wait a minute, what we need to do also is I want to show you how to scale the image. So you go to image, scale image, and you can see that this is huge. Now for working the likes of RLC, you need to use 5 by 12 by 5 by 12. So we open, make sure these chain links are open so that you can change these, because if they're closed and you change that, it changes there to a different setting. But if you want both the settings to be the same, open the chain link and then like so. And you can see that is now scaled that to 5 by 12. And to zoom in, just go up, just go down here to this little box here, and you've got the different options for zooming in, 200, 100, etc., which is good. Now, as you can see, I've opened that there. Now you could either open it as layers, but I'm wanting to scale this first. So image, scale image. Now because both those are the same scale, both the width and the height. You don't need to unlock that chain because you'll see it automatically. Does it? But it's if the width or the height are different sizes and you want them to be uniform and both the same size, then you must unlock that chain. The scale, right? Okay. As you can see, now we can filter. We'll go for sharpen again. Yep, that looks pretty good. Right, so we can just leave that for now. Now over here, we want to add a new layer. So down here, we've got the various options down here. You can see you've got add a layer, save folder, up and down arrows. That duplicates. If you wanted to duplicate that layer there, you could. But for now, we don't need to. You just right click and delete it. We've got the anchor, which we use if we've got a bunch of running ants and we just want to anchor it all. You've got your delete this layer. But for now, we just want to add a layer. So we've got a new layer. Make sure we've got a new layer there and make sure that you're checked on that. Go back over here, right click, edit, copy, and then paste this in on top of this one. Right, now you can see this layer is now taken over. Now because we have these running ants, there's not a lot we can do here. So what we want to do is anchor this layer. So you go over and over here where it says floating section pasted layer, right click and click anchor. That gets rid of those running ants, which means you can now work with this. So what we want to do is lower the opacity so that you can see the layer below. So above here we've got the opacity and you just lower it until you're comfortable with what you can see. Then you go down to the bottom layer and using your fuzzy select tool, click on that, then go back up to the top layer here, click there, wait a minute, hang on, fuzzy select tool, right, that's it, click there and then go back up, right click, cut, back down, fuzzy select, right click, cut, back down, right click, cut. Now you get the idea. Or, I mean, if it's not very clear, then do just use the, I mean, you can zoom in for this, do use the free select tool. For this, we would go up to 200. And as you can see, this is going to be not going to have the right effect. So we'll just use the lasso tool. Make sure you're up there. And then just come down. Following the lines as close as you can. Zoom in as much as you want. And then just cut. Make sure you're on the top. Cut. The same over here. Just follow it. Cut. And then cut. Now that's all I'm going to do for now, but if I bring up the opacity, you can see how we've got this nice wooden effect. So play around with that and do keep going back to this video just to get the idea on what you want to do. Now I'm not wanting to save that, so I'm just going to close that down. And this. Now what you want to do is in world. Oh, come on. Right, so first of all, what we want to do is open up sorry guys, having problems here. Okay, for now, that'll do us for now, and then I'll go back to how we upload it into RLC and stuff like that.